Hello, students. Good afternoon. This is another video on translation. Here we'll see elements, challenges, and scope of translation. So let us start. Translation in linguistics is the process of transferring the meaning, sense, or message of a written text or source text ST from one language source language SL into an equivalent written text target text TT in another language target language TL, taking into account linguistic, cultural, and contextual factors. So it's a very big thing. So many things they have spoken in through these lines. Translation in linguistics, the process of transferring the meaning, or meaning means sense or message of a written text. Written text is source text from one language, source language, right, into equivalent written, that is written, and that is also written target text or target language, that is also written, and into an linguistic linguistic means that's a introduction and all, it must be equivalent, right, then cultural and co, that's a cultural and contextual factor, that's very important, cultural and contextual factors. Then cultural we have to maintain, and context we have to maintain, equivalent, cultural, and contextual, so that from source text or source language to target text or target language we have to maintain, we have to convert the matter, but that's a, it must be equivalent, means message or meaning or sense must be equivalent, culture must be maintained, context should not be changed. So that's the translation. Now, wait a minute. Now elements of translation. What are the elements of translation? The core elements involved in translation process emphasize equivalent, not just word for word. That is the core elements involved in translation process emphasize equivalence. We have to maintain the text, that must have equal weightage, equal importance, whatever given in original language. So first is source text or and source language. Source text and source language, the original message or content, the original message or content that needs to be translated. So original message or content must be translated. Example, a business contract written in German. So what is the important here? Original message or content that needs to be translated. So example, business contract written in German. Okay. So for example, our children go to students go to foreign countries for studies, right? and then they live in rental house, paying guests, something. So that contract, that agreement, right? So that is suppose originally written in French, Spanish, or German, and our Indian students, they are not familiar, of course, not familiar with their native language. So sometime common language is English, right? So they convert the matter, they convert the document into agreement into English. That is source text, original, right? So that is originally written in French, right? And then suppose that is originally written in French. So that will be known as source text or source language. Now target text and target language, that's a target text and target language. So the resulting translated message or content, I gave you example of student when they move to foreign countries and then they live in a rental room. Then agreement. So the same business contract, they are giving example of business contract rendered in English. So the same German agreement, house agreement rendered in English, suppose. So that will be target language. Then meaning or message. The most important element. What is this? The conceptual or contextual concept, conditions, whatever is written there. So that concept and context, in which context they are talking about different situations and conditions, informing, being conveyed. So what a house landlord is telling to tenants. So landlord's condition or conditions in agreement, which is mentioned in agreement, must be conveyed properly. Intentions must be conveyed to tenants, to like from landlord to tenants. Each and everything must be clear between landlord and tenants. So that is the most important point, element, challenge. Meaning, sense, or message must be very clearly delivered. The translator's primary goal is, so who will do this? Of course, translator who's familiar, very much familiar with both the language, suppose German to English, Spanish to English, French to English. So he must be very much familiar with both the language. Translator. So the translator, his primary goal is to ensure this remain constant. It must be remained constant. There is not a single word can change the meaning. So that's meaning must be properly delivered. So translating I love you to Spanish, so that's a Spanish word. The words change, but the core message of deep affection is retained. So that word, the soul of sentence or phrase, must be delivered same properly. So that's a third thing we have to keep in mind, meaning, sense, or message. Now, so these are the different elements where we have seen that source text or source language and source language, target text, target language, meaning, sense, and message, right? Now, what they are saying, that fourth one is equivalence. The relationship between source text and target text, where the target text is a suitable replacement, right, for the source text for the target audience. What they are saying, that the relationship between source text and target text, where the target text is suitable replacement for source text for the target audience. The same they are talking about, that the relationship between source text and target text. So target text is a suitable replacement for the source text for the target audience, what they are speaking or writing. So it must be now both the text meaning must be equivalent meaning. The same meaning, same interpretation can be taken from source text. The same must be taken out from the target text. Now, next is linguistic equivalence, matching grammatical, syntactic, and lexical elements where possible. What they are saying, that linguistic equivalent, matching grammatical, syntactic, and lexical elements where possible. They should try, translators should try to maintain the grammatical structure. It should not be change like 100%, not possible, but then 90-70% it should be maintained. The same grammatical structure, then syntactic means structure of sentence, lexical elements means words, same weightage word should be used into target language. So that is called linguistic equivalence. Means, suppose there is a word ma in Hindi, so mother in English, right? But my, but maya, right? But amma. There are so many words, and then every word has its own feeling. Mai teri chunariya lehrai song is माँ तेरी चुनरिया लहराई or mom तेरी चुनरिया लहराई. But the words, every word has its own meaning. So that is lexical equivalent, lexical same weightage word. कि माँ के लिए माँ है, अम्मा है, माई है, मैया है, पर हर वर्ड का एक अपनी ग्रेविटी, एक अपनी डेप्थ है, जिसमें एक माँ सबसे कॉमन है. तो इंग्लिश में मॉम और मदर, राइट? सो मदर इज बेटर देन मॉम अगर मैया या माँ की बात होती है. तो दैट इज लेक्सिकल इक्विवेलेंट. इफ वी टॉक अबाउट सिंटैक्टिक इक्विवेलेंट, सो सेम स्ट्रक्चर कि मैं आपके बिना नहीं रह सकता, तो आई कांट लिव विदाउट यू, राइट? तो कुछ इसी तरह का, जिसमें आप एक वर्ड कम वर्ड ज़्यादा करने से उस स्ट्रक्चर का मीनिंग, उसका उसमें वेटेज कम नहीं होना चाहिए. तो सिंटैक्टिक मीन्स स्ट्रक्चर भी सेंटेंस का प्रॉपर हो, जैसा सोर्स लैंग्वेज में वैसा ही टारगेट लैंग्वेज में हो. ग्रामेटिकल मैचिंग भी हो, क्योंकि ग्रामर सेज अ लॉट. ग्रामर change a single word, change the meaning. So that is why grammatical matching must be there. If they are using the word something, if they are saying, okay, you are being uh, called by the director, that's the English, तो आपको डायरेक्टर याद कर रहे हैं, हिंदी में ऐसा हो जाता है. तो बुलाया जा रहा है और याद कर रहे हैं, है ना? तो आपको डायरेक्टर बुला रहे हैं, वो बिल्कुल अलग मीनिंग है. यू आर बीइंग कॉल्ड, राइट? और यू आर director is calling you. So you are being called and director is calling you. Both are different. So what they say, that linguistic equivalent means we should follow the grammar which is followed in source text, almost same weightage than syntactic, structure must be followed. And then lexical, we have uh, discussed about lexical, the same word ma and ma, not mom, mother. So if it is possible, we should match, we should maintain the equivalence in linguistic level. Now next is, that's a cultural or dynamic equivalence. How? Or functional equivalence, that is called functional also. So ensuring the translated text elicits a similar response or function in the target audience as original text did in the source audience, even if the literal word, what they are saying, that example they are giving, let us discuss first example. Translating the English idiom, it is a piece of cake, means it's a cake walk or it's very easy. Not literally into French, again I am not able to tell you what is written here, but which makes no sense. I can give you example of Hindi. It's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. So it's a, ये केक का टुकड़ा, जिसका हिंदी में कोई मीनिंग नहीं होता, पर इंग्लिश में इस प्रोवर्ब का मीनिंग है कि इट्स वेरी इजी टास्क, इजी. But with French equivalents like so and so, I don't speak on this language because I don't have knowledge about French, but I'm giving you example of Hindi, the same. Suppose English idiom is it's a piece of cake, so then you can change it's a, ये केक का टुकड़ा, जिसका इजी से तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं होता. यहाँ पर पीस ऑफ केक मीन्स इजी वर्क, जिसको केक वॉक भी कहते हैं, लेकिन इंग्लिश में ना केक वॉक का हिंदी में कोई मीनिंग है और पीस ऑफ केक का भी कोई मीनिंग नहीं. तो ये चैलेंजेस, ये एलिमेंट्स वी हैव टू कीप इन माइंड. सो द सेम दे आर सेइंग दैट कल्चरल एंड डायनेमिक इक्विवेलेंट, मतलब फंक्शन वही होना चाहिए, मीनिंग दैट फंक्शनल. व्हाट दे आर सेइंग दैट ensuring that translated text elicits a similar response or function in the target audience as the original text did in the source audience, even if the literal words are different. Literal words are totally different, right? तो कहते हैं कि अरे ये तो दाएं हाथ का खेल है, तो दैट्स अ केक वॉक और दैट्स अ पीस ऑफ केक. पर दाएं हाथ का खेल और इसमें दोनों में कोई मैचिंग ही नहीं है वर्ड्स में, बट मीनिंग सेम है. तो वो जो कल्चरल और डायनेमिक इक्विवेलेंस है, वो मेंटेन कौन कर पाएगा? जो दोनों सोसाइटी के कल्चर से भी फमिलियर है. वो फ्रेंच के कल्चर से भी फमिलियर है ट्रांसलेटर, उसको मालूम है वहाँ कैसा कल्चर है, कैसे भाषा बोली जाती है, कैसे कस्टम्स हैं, क्या है, और उसको वो उसी कल्चर को इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट कर पाएगा, है ना? तो वो बहुत इजीली क्या लिख देगा कि ये बाएं हाथ का खेल है, और इंग्लिश में लिख देगा इट्स अ केक वॉक और इट्स अ पीस ऑफ केक. तो ये दैट्स अ चैलेंज, दैट्स दीज आर द एलिमेंट्स वी शुड कीप इन माइंड, राइट? तो हमने इसमें एलिमेंट्स देखे कि फर्स्ट एलिमेंट इज द दैट्स अ these are the elements of translation: source text, target text, meaning, and fourth one is equivalence. Now these were the uh, these are the elements we have seen. Now what are the challenges in translation? That is also important point. So translator constantly navigate complex issues where direct linguistic transfer is impossible. Now number of softwares are available, right? So that Hindi to English, English to Hindi, and n number of languages you can, all the languages. So then once you put your matter, and then the nanosecond it will convert into next targeted language. But that is not possible that once you put and then you translate and your work is done. No. Why? Because it is not possible or misleading. So that is not, that will be very big trouble for you. How? Let us see. Lexical gap or untranslate untranslatability. Untranslatability because uh, the message is not transferred. Language is converted, but message is not transferred. So that lexical gap is still remaining. How? When a word or a concept exists in source language but has no direct or single word equivalent in target language. But then, source language and target language, there is word, but the not the same equal word is not possible in target language, not available in target language. For example, German, again they have given example of German. I can you give you taking pleasure in someone else misfortune, right? Sadistic pleasure. So suppose they are saying that हिंदी में अगर आप कहो कि आपको किसी के ट्रबल में मजा आ रहा है ना, तो अगर आप इस तरह के लेक्सिकल गैप का एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको बोलूँ तो कल की बात है, तो द फैकल्टी हु joined, and then the moment the like within 2 3 days he was overburdened because he was called by senior faculty, and he had been given number of tasks in the beginning because that was the phase that the institution had to do a lot, so that he was given number of responsibilities. So he said that, हिंदी में बोला कि मैडम ऐसा कहते हैं ना कि सिर मुंडाते ही ओले पड़ने लगे। अब इसका मतलब है कि इसको आप इंग्लिश में करने के लिए ट्रांसलेशन करना है, तो मतलब कि जैसे उसने ज्वाइन किया एंड ही वाज गिवन नंबर ऑफ टास्क, डिफिकल्ट टास्क, तो इसका ट्रांसलेशन गैप आया है क्योंकि ये वही सिर मुंडाते ओले पड़ना, या हर हर वर्ड अवेलेबल नहीं है, एक लैंग्वेज में है तो दूसरे में वो अवेलेबल नहीं होता कई बार, है ना। तो ये एक सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है ट्रांसलेशन का। क्या चैलेंज है? लेक्सिकल गैप और अनट्रांसलेटिबिलिटी, है ना। अनट्रांसलेटेबिलिटी, अनट्रांसलेटेबिलिटी मतलब कि वो ट्रांसफ़र हुआ ही नहीं मैसेज। ईडियम फ्रेजेस हमने अभी देखे। नंबर 2, ईडियम्स और फिगरेटिव लैंग्वेज। फिगरेटिव लैंग्वेज हिंदी में हम कहते हैं ना कि हिंदी में जैसे एक्सप्रेशंस whose meaning cannot be inferred from literal meaning of their component words. The expressions whose meaning cannot be inferred from the literal meaning of their component words. अब उसका literal meaning और उसके component words में change कैसे? To kick the bucket, ये इंग्लिश है, तो to die, to kick the bucket, to die. A literal translation into another language would be nonsensical. बिल्कुल ही मीनिंग चेंज हो जाएगा। किक द बकेट, द ट्रांसलेटर मस्ट फाइंड अ फंक्शनली equivalent idiom or paraphrase. I gave you example like cats and dogs we have seen, right? Like many examples. Empty vessel makes much noise, right? So there are another example we can take. For example, very negative example, but let me give you. That's a someone says that, okay, you have to pay for your behavior, like misbehave. So he is saying that कि भगवान की लाठी में आवाज नहीं होती. तो आप अगर ऐसा इसी को इंग्लिश में कहोगे, तो उसमें डायरेक्ट आपको यू हैव टू बी familiar with the same meaning, but that's a another what I'm telling you, that's the equivalent proverb in English, right? That's a, I don't know right now, I'm not getting, but that's same. हो सकता है इंग्लिश कल्चर में वैसा कुछ कहते ही ना हो, बट देन यू मिसबिहेव, और कहते हैं ना कि प्राइड हैथ फॉल, इसका कहीं ना कहीं मीनिंग है प्राइड हैथ फॉल, मतलब जिस घमंड चूर होता ही है, कहते रावण का भी घमंड नहीं चला, लेकिन वो बहुत अलग है प्राइड हैथ फॉल। और यहाँ पर आपने कहा कि भगवान की लाठी में आवाज़ नहीं होती, तो मतलब तुम्हारा घमंड कभी ना कभी टूटेगा, बट इंग्लिश में प्राइड हैथ फॉल, तो बहुत डिफरेंस है। तो दैट इज ऑल्सो अनदर एग्जाम्पल of idiom and figurative languages cannot be translated easily. You must, translator must be aware, must be familiar with that equivalent uh, proverbs and language, figurative language. Then only he'll be able to translate the text. The next challenge is cultural nuances और रियालिया। कल्चरल न्यूआंसेस, छोटे छोटे से सटलिटीज, राइट, वर्ड्स और कॉन्सेप्ट स्पेसिफिक टू सोर्स लैंग्वेज कल्चर। एग्जाम्पल, फूड, सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, यूनिक जोग्राफिकल फीचर, है ना, दैट आर फॉरेन टू द टारगेट लैंग्वेज कल्चर. So, cultural nuances. Translating a distinctively Indian garments like sari into Western language, the translator often remains the word and provides an explanation of the context. So that's a realia. Realia means आपके पास उसका वेटेज का, do you don't have word, and that's why whatever the word is used in Hindi text, you have to use the same, and you have to, translator has to use the same. And in for Western culture, translator often retains the word and provides the explanation, so he has to provide, because there is no word, because culture is different, small differences, but then nuances, small small different subtleties of culture. So that's another challenge. Then that's a responsibility of translator, he will explain the meaning, right? So that is called realia. Sari and chalk. अब हम चौक बनाते हैं पूजा में, राइट? So that's a design, that's a rangoli, for example, right? So he has to use the same word rangoli, and then he can explain the different colors, and that's a art, whatever, right? So because there is no rangoli, there is no culture of Western culture. In Western culture, no rangoli, right? And then culture is actually, there are lots of difference in both the cultures. Western countries and Indian culture and Western culture, both are different. So then he has to explain some words. It's a vice versa sometime. Even holy water. So हमारे में होली वाटर ही है, लेकिन मंदिर में क्या रखते हैं, आचमन, जो हम आचमनी से जल लेते हैं, राइट? तो दैट इज़ होली वाटर, जो तुलसी का पानी, तुलसी का मंत्र, तुलसी जी को उसमें कॉपर के बर्तन में रख के और लोटे में, और जो मंदिरों में हम जल लेते हैं, वो दैट्स अ होली वाटर। लेकिन उनका होली वाटर, हमारे होली वाटर में डिफरेंस है, मतलब वो होली वाटर है तो तुलसी एंड एवरीथिंग ही हैज़ टू एक्सप्लेन. तो दीज आर कॉल्ड कल्चरल नुआंसेस. Then polysemy and contextual ambiguity. Polysemy we had discussed, right? Words with multiple meanings, right? Where the correct interpretation depends entirely on surrounding context. So a word has multiple meaning, and where the correct interpretation depends on entirely surrounding context. So that is bank. So in English, bank, financial institution, and river bank. So the translator must choose the target language equivalent based on the sentences in which context must be clear. What does he mean when he use bank? Which bank he is talking about? So that context is a very big challenge, right? Contextual ambiguity, because context is not clear, then person will definitely will be confused what bank they are talking about. So that's the next challenge. Then syntactic and grammatical differences. So what is this? Variations in sentence structure, verbs, tenses, and gendered nouns between the source language and target language. They have given example of German. I'm giving you example of Hindi. Very common example. राम आम खाता है. अब इंग्लिश में अगर करना है तो आपको लिखना पड़ेगा राम ईट्स अ मैंगो. देखो कैसे ग्रामर चेंज होती है. राम तो ठीक है, सब्जेक्ट है. आम इधर चला गया और खाता है, ईट्स इधर आ गया. हिंदी में ए का कोई यूज़ नहीं है, नहीं तो राम एक आम खाता हो जाएगा. समझ रहे हो इसकी ग्रामर कितना डिफरेंस है ग्रामर में. सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर में भी है. हिंदी का सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर सब्जेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट एंड वर्ब, ये हिंदी का स्ट्रक्चर हुआ. इंग्लिश के स्ट्रक्चर में सब्जेक्ट वर्ब एंड ऑब्जेक्ट, ये हिंदी का स्ट्रक्चर है. सॉरी, ये इंग्लिश का स्ट्रक्चर है. अच्छा, इंग्लिश में क्या है? इंग्लिश में इसके अलावा आपने इसमें डिटर्मिनर भी यूज़ किया, हिंदी में नो डिटर्मिनर, है ना. तो ये ग्रामेटिकल डिफरेंसेस और सिंटैक्टिक डिफरेंस, मतलब सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर में डिफरेंस है. ये दो लैंग्वेज को कंपेयर करके आप एग्जाम में भी बता सकते हैं, है ना. फिर टोन, स्टाइल एंड रजिस्टर, क्या चैलेंजेस हैं? Ensuring the translation conveys the same flavor, formal, informal, technical, poetic and ironic. क्या है? टोन, स्टाइल एंड रजिस्टर. तो ट्रांसलेशन कन्वेज द सेम फ्लेवर, उसको वही चीज लाना पड़ेगा, है ना. फॉर्मल, इनफॉर्मल, कहाँ फॉर्मल है कहाँ इनफॉर्मल है, टेक्निकल, आयरोनिक, each and everything should be maintained into target language. What example they are translating? A formal legal document, right, requires a precise, objective and formal register. बिल्कुल वैसा का वैसा, प्रिसाइज, शॉर्ट, ऑब्जेक्टिव, सब्जेक्टिव टोन नहीं आना चाहिए, and formal register. And that formality, that औपचारिकता must be maintained. मतलब आप उसमें informal word, you can't add any informal word, versus a casual marketing slogan or sometime casual marketing slogan, right. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. The casual marketing slogan requires a creative, persuasive and informal register. So then everything you have to maintain, right. तो जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. तो that's a same meaning, that's a informal, but then the same you have to maintain when you translating the matter into target language. So that you have to maintain. So what are the challenges? We have seen that Challenges are first is lexical gap or untranslatability. Lexical gap or untranslatability, idioms and figurative language. That's another one. Number two. Number three, cultural nuances. The realia, sari, you have to take the same. That's a real word you have to take. That's why they are talking about realia. Then polysemy or contextual ambiguity. If you are taking any word which has number of meanings, then you have to maintain the context, otherwise reader or audience will get confused. Then syntactic and grammatical differences. Ram aam khata hai, तो राम आम खाता है, राम then आम and then खाता है, this is a Hindi. And Ram eats a mango, so Ram eats a mango. ये grammatical difference हमने दो language, ये हिंदी है ये इंग्लिश है, देखा है ना. तो these are the structure, syntactic and even grammatical. Ram eats a mango in English, but there is no a in English. Ram आम एक आम खाता है, मीनिंग ही बदल जाएगा. तो दिस इज द syntactic and grammatical. Tone, style and register. So that's a formal or informal. I gave you example of कुछ रिश्ते निभाने दूर तक जाना जाना पड़ता है. सैमसंग का एक ऐड है, उसमें ये लाइन आती है, कुछ रिश्ते निभाने दूर तक जाना पड़ता है. तो दैट्स अ सेम टोन. एंड वो एक, अगर आपने देखा हो सैमसंग का वो ऐड जिसमें ब्लाइंड लड़की रहती है, वो कॉल करती है कि टीवी ख़राब हो गया, फिर वो कहता है मैडम टीवी ठीक हो गया, तब वो एकदम से बोलती चलो चलो बच्चों को बुलाती है, आप देखना वो ऐड आता है. तो उसमें वो फिर देन ओनली ही कम्स टू नो, engineer comes to know that oh she is blind, and then it's a blind school, hostel, the young small kids all are blind. तो वो गाना बजता है, फिर वो सारे गामा या समथिंग that they watch together. So that is that tone, the meaning, everything. So that is tone, style and register must be maintained. So these are the challenges. Now, last part of this, what's the scope of translation? Very big scope. Translation is a vital area of study within applied linguistics, forming the foundation of translation studies, right? Very important. Even you can make your career as a translator, as an independent academic discipline. So that is translation, translator. It's an independent academic discipline. So what the scope in translation? Number one, academic studies, right? So translation studies, it systematically examines the theory, description, and applications of translation. So this is the academic study, translation studies. Here they examine theory, description, and application of translation. It draws heavily on the other fields of linguistics, such as semantics, the study of meaning. So they focus on the other part, like when you are studying this subject, right? Study academic study, right? So then you have to study of a thorough study of semantics, means study of meaning. Pragmatics means study of language in context, different contexts. That approach is called pragmatic. Then sociolinguistics, then language and society, how language and society work together. And text linguistics, text structure and coherence. Just now we have seen Ramam Khata. So example is applying Roman Jacobson's categories of translation: interlingual, interlingual, and intersemiotic, to analyze how meaning is restructured. So that is done in academic study. Then cultural mediation. Translation scope extends beyond language to the transfer of culture, because uh, we how did we come to know about Americans टेबल मैनर्स? बिकॉज हम तो पटे में नीचे खाते थे खाना, दरी में बैठ के या चटाई में बैठ के या पटे में पाट में बैठ के खाना खाते थे। तो हमने जो टेबल मैनर्स और ये कल्चर कहाँ से आया? Because of language it travels, right? So that translation scope extend beyond the language. So that is not only language, but that is transfer of culture. Language and culture coexist, right? So that is, if we learn language we learn culture as well because of language. So translators act as a cultural mediator. So translators, they transfer culture as well, introducing new concepts, ideas, worldviews to the target culture. So, whatever matter is being converted, so that targeted culture we learn. Example, translating the works of ancient Greek philosopher like Plato, Aristotle into Arabic and later into European languages was crucial for the development of modern science and thought. So that you can imagine that philosophers like Pluto, Aristotle, we are lucky to have these philosophers, but that we were aloof if there was no translation. But translator translated that uh, text into number of languages, right? Into Arabic and later European languages were crucial for development of modern science and thought. हिंदी में भी और सब में बहुत सारी लैंग्वेजेस में इनका वर्क अवेलेबल है आज की डेट में. So that is the great responsibility, great contribution of translators. They translate uh, famous works into different languages. Third scope, specialized translation, domain specific. The demand of translation expertise in specific fields which requires deep subject matter knowledge in addition to linguistic components. तो बहुत ज़्यादा डिमांड है इनकी बिकॉज दे एक्सपर्टीज इन स्पेसिफिक फील्ड्स फॉर टेक्निकल ट्रांसलेशन, मैनुअल्स, पेटेंट्स, engineering reports. Example, translating a user manual for a new surgical device. So that suppose there is a device for dental, so that machine doctor dentist has installed in his clinic, but then how did he come to know about the functioning? Through manual. So manual means the whole description of that particular device must be explained into his language. हिंदी में भी ट्रांसलेशन हो, इंग्लिश में भी हो, जिसमें भी वो डॉक्टर फेमिलियर है. अगर वो डॉक्टर गुजराती है और वो गुजराती ही जानता है बट ही इज़ अ डेंटिस्ट, तो फिर वो गुजराती में भी अवेलेबल होना चाहिए, है ना. फिर लीगल ट्रांसलेशन बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. टेक्निकल ट्रांसलेशन, लीगल ट्रांसलेशन और लिटरेरी ट्रांसलेशन. लीगल ट्रांसलेशन भी जैसा हमने अभी इसमें टेक्निकल देखा कि इफ़ मेडिकल एनी डिवाइस, एनी मेडिसिन, एनी थेरेपी, एनी कॉस्मेटिक, सपोज if it is not properly translated, so that it can be a very big risk and that device can harm our body, right? Similarly, legal translation, contracts, treaties, contour documents. Example, translating the Hague Convention documents, any document, suppose alimony for a girl or lady, right? Suppose maintenance, or these are the simple examples. So that must be translated into different languages, so that that's a advocate and a suitor will come to know the the laws or uh, legal acts and all, right? So that is important. Then literary translation. Literary is a very big task. Novels, poetry, drama, where creativity and tone right? Preservation are paramount. That's a translating poetry, Pablo Neruda, right? Shakespeare translation. Number of languages, right? So that's a Mahabharat, Bhagavad Gita, Puran, Bible, right? That is the great advantage. That's a when translation, uh, it was translated into simple language, it was translated into Hindi and other languages. So that's many came to know about Bible, about Bhagavad Gita, Quran, and other things, right? Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other many religious scripture books. So that's a one example, but novel Shakespeare, and so many works are available in so many languages. So that's a literary translation. At last, that is technological development. So that's a the linguistic foundation of translation is critical for development and refinement of machine translation. So linguistic foundation is of translation is critical for development and refinement of machine translation. As now machine can softwares immediately they change, and computer assisted translation, we have seen that computer assisted translation, different tools, different apps, like, okay. And then linguistic, so these are the linguistic theories help improve the accuracy of neutral machine translation. What's neutral machine translation? By teaching AI models to better handle syntax and context. So now AI is very helpful to translate, and even context and many things are proverbs and articulated language, figurative language. They are being translated because of algorithm. The same they have given an example. What they are saying that developing algorithms that use corpus linguistics, right, to identify the most common and appropriate translation for polysemous word like right, right. So that's a direction, correctness, privilege, what so in a given context. So that algorithm is very helpful to translate, to maintain context, to maintain tone and style, grammatical parallels and everything. So now technological, because of technological development and AI, so that's a very helpful. Translation is now easier, not very much easy, but easier. So today we have seen that's different elements of translation: source text, right? So text, target text, then meaning, sense and message, and equivalence. These are the elements. Then we have seen challenges, right? So lexical gap or idioms and figurative language, cultural nuances, realia, right? Polysemy and contextual ambiguity, then syntactic and grammatical differences, tone, style, and register. These are the challenges. And then what's the scope? So scope is that's a academic study you can do. You can become translator once you get idea how to translate, right? So that's the cultural mediation. So that's a cultural mediation because uh, we are lucky because we are able to learn as we received American language, so we received American culture, right? So language and culture, so that we are familiar with the number of different types of culture, and we are adopting, they are adopting our culture, we are adopting their culture. Then a specialized translation, so that's a domain specific, right? So that technical translation, legal translation, so different special domain special translation. So translation gives makes our life easier because technical translation, then all cosmetics and all that's is available. Then legal translation, because we can't make mistake in legal translation. These are the sensitive documents, literary translation, poems and all. So that is why we are able to read Shakespeare and other. Kalidas is translated into English and number of language. Kalidas work. So this way, that's an exchange of text, because of text and knowledge, because of it could possible because of translation. And now technological development day by day. That's a technology is being developed, and that is why the we are able to translate the text easily from source language to target language. So this is very important part. This is an important video. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, or share your comment in comment box. Thank you so much. God bless you.